Respect and disrespect are two sides of the same coin in human interactions. You may live a life of kindness, wisdom, and self-discipline, yet you will still encounter disrespect. Some will ignore you, others will belittle you, and some will even attempt to humiliate you in public. But the question is not whether disrespect will come. It surely will. The real question is, how will you respond? Most people react in predictable ways when disrespected. They get angry, argue, demand respect, or withdraw in pain. But Zen teaches us that true power does not lie in reaction, it lies in response. A person who can remain composed in the face of disrespect holds all the power. A wise response can shake the very ground beneath the feet of those who try to insult you. A Zen proverb states, "The moon does not fight, it does not worry, it does not try to crush others. It just shines in the same way. You do not have to react with anger or pain when disrespected. Instead, you can use the Zen tricks to leave the disrespectful person shocked, powerless, and even regretful." Now, let us enter the story, a lesson in wisdom, response, and the true meaning of self-mastery. The silent master and the arrogant man. There was once a wise and quiet master who had spent years studying the art of self-discipline. His presence was calm, his words few, and his actions deliberate. He had no interest in praise or recognition, yet his wisdom was known far and wide. One day, an arrogant man heard of the master and grew envious of the respect he received. He thought, how can a man who does not boast, who does not fight for attention, be respected more than me? Determined to destroy the master's reputation, the arrogant man devised a plan to publicly insult him and expose him as weak. 1. The power of ignoring insults. The arrogant man gathered a crowd and approached the master, standing before him with a smirk. "You are nothing but a fool," the arrogant man sneered. "Your wisdom is a joke, and your silence only proves you have nothing intelligent to say." The crowd gasped, waiting for the master's response. Would he defend himself? Would he strike back? But the master simply smiled, bowed slightly, and remained silent. The arrogant man continued, louder this time, throwing more insults, but still the master did not react. Finally, frustrated, the man demanded, "Say something. Defend yourself if you are wise." The master looked at him and spoke calmly. "If someone offers you a gift, but you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The crowd fell silent. The arrogant man blinked in confusion. "What?" the master repeated. "If someone offers you a gift, but you do not accept it, to whom does it belong?" "To the one who offered it," the man answered slowly. The master nodded. "The same is true for insults. If I do not accept your words, they still belong to you." The arrogant man turned red with embarrassment. The crowd murmured in amazement. When someone insults you, they expect a reaction. They feed off your anger, your pain, your emotional outburst. If you do not give them what they expect, you strip them of their power. Zen teaches that disrespect is only effective when accepted. Just you can refuse a physical gift, you can also refuse emotional poison. When you show that insults have no effect on you, the person throwing them becomes confused and powerless. But the lesson does not end here. There are more ways to turn disrespect into wisdom. 2. Responding with kindness to disarm the attacker. After his humiliation, the arrogant man was determined to find another way to break the master's composure. The next day, he followed the master through the marketplace, this time speaking not insults, but cruel jokes. "Look at this wise man," he said mockingly to the people. "So great, so silent, perhaps he is just deaf and dumb." The people laughed, waiting to see the master's reaction, but the master, instead of ignoring this time, turned to the arrogant man with a warm smile. "Thank you," he said. "It must take great effort to make so many people laugh." The arrogant man frowned. "What? I can see you work hard to entertain people," the master continued kindly. "Your words are sharp, but I wonder, do they make your heart happy? Or is there pain behind them?" The arrogant man's smile faded. The crowd looked at him, waiting for a reply. When someone insults you, they expect resistance or anger. They expect you to fight. But when you respond with kindness, you destroy their expectations. Kindness is a mirror. It forces people to see themselves. A person who insults others is often struggling with inner pain. When you return kindness, instead of anger, you remind them of their own suffering. This is why Zen teaches hatred does not cease by hatred, but by love alone. The arrogant man, for the first time, felt something unfamiliar, shame. Not because he was embarrassed, but because he realized the master saw through him, but still he was not ready to surrender. 3. The wisdom of letting them defeat themselves. On the third day, the arrogant man returned a final plan. This time, he did not just use words. He threw a small rock at the master, hoping to provoke him into a fight. The rock hit the master's robe, but he did not react. He simply bent down, picked up the rock, and placed it aside as if it were a leaf. The arrogant man grew furious. "Defend yourself, coward," he shouted. The master looked at him with calm eyes. If a storm throws a branch at you, do you shout at the wind? The arrogant man clenched his fists. "I am not the wind. I am a man." The master smiled. "Then why do you behave like wind, throwing the wind things without reason?" The crowd burst into laughter. The arrogant man, realizing his foolishness, turned and walked away in shame. Some people are like storms. They throw anger, insults, and even violence. But if you remain calm, they will see their own foolishness. When someone disrespects you, do not fight fire with fire. Instead, let their own actions expose them. When they see their foolishness in the mirror of your stillness, they will either change or walk away. This is the highest form of victory. The power of mastery over oneself. The story of the wise master and the arrogant man is not just an entertaining lesson, it is a mirror for our own lives. How often do we encounter people who try to belittle us insult us or provoke us into emotional reactions. And how often do we find ourselves responding exactly as they expect, with anger, pain, or defensiveness? Zen and Buddhist philosophy teach us that true power does not lie in external control, but in internal mastery. But the master in the story never sought to control or silence the arrogant man. Instead, he controlled only one thing, himself. And in doing so, he left the arrogant man powerless. This is where the true lesson lies. Disrespect only affects you if you allow it to. 1. Why do people disrespect others? Before we explore the power of our response, let us understand the nature of disrespect. Why do people insult, belittle, or try to provoke others? There are 3 common reasons. Insecurity. Many people feel small inside and try to make others feel smaller so they can appear bigger. Jealousy. Some cannot accept that others are more respected, loved, at peace, or peace, so they try to tear them down. Seeking attention. Some thrive on conflict because it gives them a sense of importance. The arrogant man in the story was a reflection of these reasons. He disrespected the master because he was jealous of the peace and respect the master had. But here's the secret. When you react with anger or pain, you give them exactly what they seek, power over you. Instead, use the 3 tricks from the story. 1. Ignore their insults. They lose their power when you do not accept their words. 2. Respond with kindness. It forces them to face their own inner struggles. 3. Let them defeat themselves. When you remain calm, they expose their own foolishness. This is not weakness, it is the ultimate strength. 2. The foolishness of fighting fire with fire. Imagine 2 people standing in a room. One carries fire, the other carries water. The fire spreader shouts insults, throws words like flames, and provokes emotions. If the other person also carries fire and throws flames back, what happens? The fire grows stronger. The conflict intensifies. Both people burn, but if the other person carries water, calmness, wisdom, silence, what happens? The flames die out. The fire spreader is left with nothing to burn. This is why Zen teaches, a fool argues. A wise man smiles and walks away. Arguing with someone who disrespects you does not make you strong. It only lowers you to their level. By mastering self-control, you do something far greater. You remove their power entirely. 3. How this wisdom applies in daily life. It is easy to admire the master in the story, but how do we apply his wisdom in our daily interactions? Let us consider 3 real-life situations. At work, a colleague speaks negatively about you in front of others. Instead of defending yourself, you remain calm, smile, and say, "Thank you for your perspective." They expect an argument, but instead you leave them confused and powerless. In relationships, a loved one mocks or disrespects you during an argument. Instead of shouting back, you take a deep breath and say, "I hope you find peace." The conversation shifts and they are left facing their own emotions. In public, a stranger insults you. Instead of responding, you simply continue walking unaffected. You have refused to carry their negativity. Each time you respond this way, you are not losing, you are winning in the deepest way possible. 4. The highest victory, peace within yourself. The arrogant man in the story eventually bowed before the master and asked for wisdom. Why? Because he saw something greater than himself, a person who could not be shaken. Ask yourself, would you rather be the person who reacts emotionally and suffers, or the person who remains calm and holds true power? When you learn to control your response to disrespect, something incredible happens. You begin to see that no one can truly hurt you. Only you can allow yourself to be hurt. The master was never concerned with the arrogant man's words. He knew that an insult was like an echo in an empty valley. If you do not chase it, it fades away. This is the ultimate teaching. Disrespect only has meaning if you give it meaning. Final thought. Becoming the unshakable one. Imagine walking through life with complete inner peace. Imagine no insult, no rudeness, no negativity could ever disturb you. This is possible. Zen and Buddhist philosophy do not teach you to fight disrespect with more disrespect. They teach you to rise above it when you refuse to react, when you respond with wisdom, when you let others expose their own foolishness. You shock them, humble them, and ultimately you win. This is the way of the wise, and now the choice is yours. Will you let disrespect control you, or will you master yourself and rise above? The answer lies within you. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.